One of the most frequent questions I get asked from newbie designers and from my design students that I teach online is how to pick good colors for color palettes and projects. One of the things that I recommend to students is that they use color resources that are available online. There's lots of options, but the one that I wanted to talk with you through a little bit right now is the color palette idea generator provided by Canva. Canva.com is a really simple design program. It has a lot of flexible tools to help you get started in design, and it has some free resources as well as the paid subscription features, all which are super, super good, and you can check out more details about how to use it on my site. But right now, let's talk about picking color palettes. One of the things that I recommend most is that you learn a little bit of color theory. But if that's not the case and you're just looking for a good color palette to start for your project, using the color palette ideas tool from Canva is a great place to start. I also recommend that you talk to whoever your client is. So if you're creating something for a child having a birthday party, or maybe you're working for a small business or creating a wedding invitation, you want to ask them what colors they had in mind. Sometimes you'll get a client who has no clue what colors they like, and that's all right. Then I ask them the reverse. What colors do they know for sure they don't want? And usually they have an answer for that because we all have a color that's not our favorite. So that kind of helps get the idea started as well. But let's go ahead and talk about how you can use the color palettes idea tool on Canva in your favor. The first thing that I would say is to bookmark this. You can either just search color palette ideas tool and Canva in Google, or you can bookmark the link that I include in my blog post. But the color palettes tool is really, really simple. They offer a lot of options right here on the first page, and there's multiple pages you can choose from, or you can search. Searching is probably my favorite thing. You can type in a color, a theme, or a keyword. So for example, let's go ahead and just put in Christmas. And of course, we're going to expect to see some red and green options. There's not a lot here, so maybe instead of Christmas, we type in holiday and see if that brings up more. Not too much more, and it creates more variance. So you want to kind of gauge and say, well, maybe I want red and green, and see if that will give us a parry. That gives us quite a few kind of options to select from. Things like beach, that gives you some nice pastels, lots of browns. Maybe if we were looking for blues, we would go with ocean. You can see it kind of self-populates some ideas. These are just names of color palettes, but I would just go ahead and click oceans and see what options it provides for us. Show all results will give us that. So you see a lot of options here. The thing that I like the best is let's say if I type in light blue, and that will give us a whole bunch of options. You can see we've got, not hundreds, but quite a few pages available of options. This color palette right here, once we have one we find that we like, we go ahead and click on it, and it provides us an image, and then each of the colors that were included in that little color palette swatch. From here, what you do is just go ahead and write down each of these numbers. These are considered to be hex codes. They are a specific number so that you can type that into Canva when you're changing colors, and it will give you this exact color. So you can go ahead and type it down. You can hit this button and copy it if you've got Canva open in another screen, and then just plug that straight into the little hex code in the color generator in Canva and in your artboard. Or what I like to do sometimes is to go ahead and take a screenshot of the entire card. So I have the image there, and then also the numbers, and then I go ahead and upload that into Canva and drop it into an additional artboard that I'm working on. Like for this one, for example, I really like these colors, but I think I also want to add in kind of a green color to match this. So what I would do is having this picture in my artboard would allow me to kind of test out. I'd just draw another square and start changing it to see if I could get it pretty close to that green. And that will give you a little bit of option to customize these pre-generated palettes as well. So that's how you use the color palette ideas tool. I hope that it's super helpful for your next design.